Hi everyone. Before we dive in, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. Let's get started. There was an incident in our country that created a sensation, spreading from Delhi to Madhya Pradesh. It led people to remark that when greed takes over, even the closest family members can become distant. This is the story of Lena Sharma, a girl who went missing in her village while her family seemed indifferent to her disappearance. Lena Sharma lived in Vasant Kunj, Delhi, and had once worked as an assistant manager at the American Embassy School. After leaving that job, she moved on to a good position in a private company. Lena held a degree in foreign trade and was also an accomplished swimmer. Despite living in Delhi, Lena's family originally belonged to Hoshangabad, Madhya Pradesh, where her parents owned 70 acres of land in Doda De Namak village under the Suhagpur police station area. Lena had an elder sister named Lena Sharma, who was married, and her husband worked in Bengaluru. Lena and Lena shared a close bond. Later, Lena and her husband settled in Doda De village after leaving Bengaluru, while Lena continued her life in Delhi. Lena's share of the family land, about 35 acres, remained unfenced and unprotected, leaving it open to potential disputes. Lena's uncle, Pradeep Sharma, a powerful figure and the bloc Congress president in the village, was using 11 acres of Lena's land for vegetable farming. Although Lena assumed he was taking care of the land, she knew he should not be doing this. He sent her some money occasionally from the proceeds. After Lena's parents passed away, she had no guardian other than her elder sister and her uncle in the village. Eventually, Lena decided it was time to take control of her share of the land. She planned to fence it legally and potentially buy more land in Delhi or Jaipur, as she thought about settling down and getting married. Lena discussed her thoughts with friends, seeking advice on how to address the situation with her uncle, especially since he was cultivating a portion of her land. One day, Lena decided to speak to her uncle directly. She called him, expressing her wishes with kindness, and discussed the need to properly secure her share of the land. Her intention was to manage her future better, especially since she felt time was passing by quickly. Lena's uncle, Pradeep Sharma, assured her warmly to take care of her share of the land. With this reassurance, Lena traveled from Delhi to Bhopal on April 18, 2016. Where she stayed with a friend. She planned to take a train from Bhopal to Suhagpur on April 20th and then head to her village, Doda De. Upon arriving in her village, Lena arranged for the demarcation of her 35-acre share of land on April 23rd, with plans to begin fencing it on April 29th. This step was meant to settle any property disputes once and for all. Since Lena hadn't visited her village in many years, she was unfamiliar with most of the people there. However, with the help of her friend, she bought all the necessary materials for the fencing and hired workers for the task. She kept in touch with her friends through daily phone calls and messages, sharing updates about her progress and the events in the village. But as the day for the fencing approached, Lena suddenly stopped communicating with her friends. She disappeared from the village without warning. Her uncle and the other villagers assumed that Lena had left for some reason, perhaps having completed her work or being visited by someone. As days went by, her friends noticed something was off. They realized that Lena's phones, of which she had two, were switched off. Concerned, her friends contacted her sister and uncle for more information, only to find out that no one knew her whereabouts. Lena's friends attempted to file a missing person report at the Vasant Kunj police station in Delhi. However, since Lena went missing in Madhya Pradesh, the police directed them to file the complaint there and insisted that a family member should accompany them for the process. The friends made repeated visits to the police station, but their efforts yielded no action from the authorities. 7 days had passed since Lena's disappearance, and her family finally began to sense that something unusual and concerning was happening. Despite the growing anxiety among her friends and family, Lena's whereabouts remained a mystery, and the village and authorities seemed to be unperturbed by her sudden absence. On May 5, 2016, Lena Sharma's uncle, Pradeep Sharma, filed a missing person complaint at the Suhagpur police station. According to him, Lena had been missing since the morning of April 28th, and despite searching the entire village, there was no sign of her. He mentioned that Leena lived in Delhi, but her friends there confirmed that she had not returned. The uncle expressed his confusion and worry, urging the police to find her. Although the police registered the complaint, they initially took the matter lightly, assuming that Leena would return on her own. Despite being the bloc Congress president, Leena's uncle faced challenges in convincing the police to take the case seriously. 2 weeks passed without any progress, and Leena's friends, running out of options, turned to social media for help. They created a Facebook page named after Lena Sharma and started sharing her story, posting all the details of her disappearance, including the dates she was last seen and her planned activities. Their posts aimed to gather attention and hopefully find leads about Leena's whereabouts. The page quickly gained traction, with people sharing the posts and tagging the Madhya Pradesh police. A senior officer in the Madhya Pradesh police came across the page and learned that Leena had gone missing in the Suhagpur police station area. Realizing that the police had not made any headway in the investigation, he feared public backlash and pressure. To avoid criticism, he directed the Suhagpur police to take the case seriously and find Leena. With increased pressure from their superiors, the Suhagpur police began investigating thoroughly. According to Leena's uncle, she had been missing since April 28th, meaning it had already been 15 days since her disappearance. They traced her phone numbers, which had previously been switched off, but now found that one of the numbers had become active. This phone signal was traced to Pipriya, a town in Hoshangabad district. A police team was dispatched to Pipriya, where they found a young man in possession of Leena's phone. Upon questioning, the boy claimed that he had found the phone abandoned on a train and picked it up after no one claimed it for over an hour. The police checked his background, and after finding no criminal record, they confiscated the phone and let him go. This phone, Leena's second, did not yield any significant clues. However, further investigation into the call records revealed that the last call she had made was to an unknown number. Believing this might provide a lead, the police traced the number to an auto driver. When they brought the driver in for questioning, he confirmed that he knew Leena. He claimed that he had picked Leena up on April 29th and dropped her off in her village. This statement took the police by surprise. According to the missing person report filed by Leena's uncle, she had been missing since April 28th. But here was the auto driver, insisting that he had seen Leena and dropped her off in the village on April 29th. The police pressed him, suspecting he might be lying or confused, but he stood by his account with confidence. This new piece of information added a twist to the investigation, raising questions about Leena's whereabouts and activities during the critical days surrounding her disappearance. He remembered this very well because Leena had taken his number, and he was the driver who took her to the village. He used to drop Leena off regularly, including on the 29th of April. Now the police were once again thinking that people were alert. The date of his last phone conversation was around 8 a.m. on the 29th of April. However, the police realized that Leena's maternal uncle had written the wrong date in the report. Whether he did this unknowingly or knowingly could only be determined by asking him. Meanwhile, people were still discussing Leena's disappearance in a Facebook group, which the police monitored, hoping it might yield some clues. Lena Sharma had some special friends in the group who were holding her maternal uncle responsible for her disappearance. For the past several years, Leena had been living in tension due to land issues, as her maternal uncle was forcefully cultivating her land. A property dispute between Leena and her uncle was ongoing in the High Court, as he had seized parts of her land, and Leena had filed a complaint about it. Given this context, if Leena had come to the village and suddenly disappeared, it was reasonable to question who should be suspected. The police were becoming increasingly suspicious of Uncle Pradeep Chandramadhav because he had provided the wrong date for Leena's disappearance, a point echoed by Leena's friends in the Facebook group. Consequently, the police called Pradeep Sharma to the station to record his statement. Upon arriving, he claimed that Leena had come from Bhopal on the 28th of April to fence her land, then suddenly left. The police pressed him with questions that increased the pressure on him. They asked when he realized Leena was missing, why he delayed writing the report, and whether he clearly remembered the date of her disappearance, noting that Leena could have vanished on the 29th, 27th, or even 30th of April. Uncle Pradeep spoke with confidence, insisting it was the 28th. He couldn't fathom that the police had the means to uncover the truth, which included Leena's phone records, her friends' testimonies, and the auto driver statement. Faced with this evidence, Pradeep Sharma broke down and admitted apnaguna, confessing that he, along with his friends, had murdered Lena Sharma. Leena's parents owned about 70 acres of land, divided equally between her and her elder sister, Hina, with each inheriting 35 acres. Their father had died during Leena's childhood, and their mother passed away in 2004 when the children were still young. After this, Leena moved to Delhi to pursue her studies and career. Hina, her elder sister, along with her husband, had settled the accounts for their share of the land. Leena was also the legal advisor for Hina. On 11 acres of Leena's land, their maternal uncle started growing vegetables, and Leena believed that her uncle was taking care of the land. She often expressed confidence that he was looking out for her interests since her sorry sheep property was under her uncle's care. However, he took advantage of this arrangement and fraudulently seized parts of the property. When Leena learned about this, she was baffled, as it was an ongoing issue in the High Court. Leena had previously complained to her maternal uncle about needing to fence the land. The uncle assumed that because he was growing vegetables on it, the land now belonged to him. He thought that if Leena went through with the fencing, it would legitimize his claim to the land. Leena's uncle was closely monitoring the situation and told her to come to the village to handle everything herself. Leena returned from Bhopal to Delhi on the 18th of April, stopping at a friend's house, and arrived in Suhagpur by train on the 20th. On the 23rd of April, she got her land demarcated, with the fencing date set for the 29th. After demarcating the land, Leena went back to her friend's house, where she bought materials for the fencing and arranged for laborers. On the morning of the 29th, Leena arrived in the village with the auto driver. The laborers and other legal staff also came to oversee the work. However, just as the preparations were about to begin, her uncle arrived with two colleagues and questioned Leena about the fencing. He claimed that he also intended to fence the land and would take care of it repeatedly, reassuring her not to worry. Trusting her uncle's intentions, Leena listened to him. With the laborers' help, Leena secured the fencing area in the neighborhood so it could be set up whenever necessary. While they were working, Leena's uncle took her aside to talk behind a hut, far from the field. He insisted that she should not proceed with the fencing, asserting that he was farming on her 11 acres of land and requested she give it to him. Leena firmly refused, standing her ground against her uncle's demands. At that moment, a servant approached from behind with a stone and struck Leena on the head, causing her to fall. The uncle and his second servant then began beating her with sticks. In a desperate attempt to assert control, the uncle ordered the first servant to bring a tractor. By the time the servant returned with the tractor, the uncle had killed his niece by strangling her. They placed her body in the tractor alongside packets of salt and adia. After the murder, they transported Leena's body to a forest located 4 kilometers away. There, they found a dry drain, which had dried up during the summer season, and began digging a mattress into the ground. The uncle stripped Leena of all her clothes to prevent identification. Once the mattress was prepared, they placed her body inside and covered it with salt and urea to hasten decomposition. It was the afternoon of the 29th of April when they pushed the mattress into the drain. They also brought in soldiers, reminiscent of a scene from an Ajay Devgan movie where the phone was thrown onto train tracks. Following this, the uncle and his 2 accomplices disposed of both of Leena's phones in different locations along the train tracks before returning to their homes. They planned to wait for a week for Leena's body to be discovered, hoping that if the police found it, she would be unrecognizable. After learning of the incident, the police arrested both servants involved in the crime. It's worth noting that both Uncle G and Leena's elder sister had previously gone to the police station together to file a missing persons report. During this process, they recovered 100 rupees and several rings, which were sent to the hospital for further examination. Blue samples from Leena's sister were also taken for DNA identification, which later confirmed a match. Leena's friends suspected that her elder sister, Hina, was also involved in the conspiracy, as she had not filed a missing person report immediately after Lena's disappearance. Both she and Uncle G filed the report later, raising suspicions among Lena's friends. They believed that Lena's sister should have been more concerned about her disappearance, as she was calmer than her friends at the time. The elder sister had always advised Lena to avoid controversy, possibly due to her interest in Lena's properties. Lena owned more property than her elder sister, including a 7,000-square-foot house, and her two aunts had made her the sole heir to their respective properties. Even their grandfather had given Lena a share of his estate. When Lena's body was held in the mortuary, Hina arrived by car but did not get out to see her sister. Her husband claimed that she refrained from doing so because of their 17-month-old child. Afterward, Hina quickly completed all the necessary paperwork to have Lena's body released for burial the following day. Both Uncle G and Hina were under suspicion from Lena's friends. As the trial commenced, evidence against them was presented, and they eventually confessed to the crime. Despite this, Uncle G secured bail after just 9 minutes of the trial, and the two servants were also released on bail after 11 months. The case continued in court, and in 2023, the Sessions Court sentenced all three of them to life imprisonment. Even during the trial, Uncle G's family continued to cultivate vegetables on Lena's land. When Lena's lawyer raised this issue in court, the judge ordered that her property should be transferred to her closest living relative. As it turned out, Lena's elder sister was recognized as the closest relative, thus concluding the story. Feel free to comment on how you liked the video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel while turning on the bell icon. See you in the next video.